Okay, welcome guys sa second session natin for the midterm examination for the geology for civil engineers. Okay, our top, before anything else, announcement and reminder, midterm examination natin is on, ba't nakalagay Tuesday? Okay. So since wala tayong schedule for Thursday, so Tuesday na lang. Same time, nitong time natin ngayon, sa Tuesday yung exam natin. Okay? So hindi lang natin ipasok ng Thursday. So yung pointers to review is yung previous topic natin last week, which is mineralogy, and for this today yung didiscuss natin yung petrology. Okay? So at the end of this session, these are the things that hopefully uh, we uh, we can finish. No, the first one is to define petrology and its importance in the civil engineering profession. Next is to identify the different types of rocks. And lastly is to discuss yung rock cycle. Okay, so let's start. Starts with petrology. Okay, so based from this picture, ano yung pwede nating uh, ma-observe kapag pinag-uusapan yung petrology? So we have dito mga iba't ibang key terms, no? So meron tayo ditong volcanic, nakikita natin. So meron tayong din mineralogy ulit. Tapos meron tayong lava, pebble, rocks, no? Marble, metamorphic rock, petrology, geophysics. Okay? So all in all, these words are pertaining or connected with dun sa pag-aaral natin ngayon, ano, sa petrology. So to formally define yung petrology. So ang petrology daw is the branch of geology which deals with the study of rocks. Okay? So nung una nung hindi ko pa na ano itong um, word na 'to na-encounter before, sabi ko petrology siguro study of petrol ano, or yung gasoline 'no, ay yung ano yung, nilalagay sa sasakyan yung mga ano diesel or ano, pero hindi pala. Okay, so pala study of rock siya, okay. So kung ano ba tayo pupunta sa mga langis kung geology yung subject natin 'no, okay. So it is a study of rocks and their mode of formation, composition, and uses for all types of engineering works. Okay? So as usual, lahat ng mga word na ginagamit natin is may etymological um, reference, no? So yung petrology daw means the study of rock. So it came from the Greek word petro, which means rocks, and logos, which means study. Okay? So rocks are naturally occurring aggregates of mineral grains. So it is composed of grains of only one mineral. Ang tawag ay monomineralic rocks. Okay? So example of these rocks are marble, which is composed of calcite, as dunite, or composed of olivine. Okay? So rock composed of grains of two or more minerals are called polymineralic rocks. Okay? So alam na yung keyword lang natin pag one mineral, di mono, pag two or more, di poly tayo, no? Okay. Next is yung example ng mga polymineralic rock are granite and basalt. Okay? So ito yung mga composition niya as indicated. And then we have yung geological classification of rocks. Kasi si rock, pwede siyang ma-classify talaga physically, chemically, pero pinaka mas important or yung most used classification niya is yung geological classification niya. Kasi mas madali siyang ma-identify or mag-group sa isang type of rock if we know the geological characteristic ng rock. Okay? So, they're classified on the basis of their mode of formation. Tapos, yung mode of formation na yon are categorized into three major groups. So, yung three major groups na yon are as follows. So, we have yung igneous rock, we have sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rock. Okay? So let us go first with the igneous rocks. So igneous rocks are formed by cooling or solidification of magma or lava. Okay? So ano yung difference ng magma and lava? So magma yung tawag kapag nasa loob pa siya ng volcano 'no. So hindi pa siya lumalabas sa surface ng Earth o yung nasa ilalim siya ng Earth. Then once na lumabas siya sa surface through eruption, lava na siya 'no. So ibig sabihin yung lava is yung flowing outside na ng mountains 'no, ng volcanoes, sorry. Okay. So lava na yung tawag sa kanya. So they are first formed at very high temperature, okay, at very great depth. Okay. So the igneous rock which are formed upon the Earth's surface are known as extrusive rocks. Okay, yung lava. So later, more discuss natin itong difference na to. Then rocks which are formed at a great or moderate depth below the Earth's surface is known as the intrusive rock or magma. Okay, so one trivia sa igneous rock. So yung sa Earth natin is basically composed of 95% na igneous rocks. Okay, so almost yung property nung nasa Earth crust natin is composed of igneous rocks. Okay, kasi um, nung mga unang panahon daw is nagkameron ng mga volcanic eruptions kaya nagkameron ng solidification ng magma and lava dun sa Earth's surface and also dun sa inside ng component ng Earth. Okay? So, we can further classify igneous rock into three classifications. So, pero ito is based on the mode of their modification of magma. So, we have yung plutonic rocks or yung tinatawag nating intrusive rocks. Okay? Then hypabysal or rocks or intrusive rock din. Okay? So, tingnan natin yung difference nitong dalawang 'to. And volcanic rocks or yung extrusive rock. So, ibig sabihin 'pag intrusive rock, hindi siya lumabas ng Earth's ng volcano 'no. So, halimbawa meron tayong volcanic eruption. Tingnan niyo 'tong figure na 'to. So, yung 1 and 2 yung plutonic and hypabysal rock natin dito. Nasa loob siya um, ng earth layer, 'no? So, ibig sabihin hindi siya lumabas kaya siya naka-intrusive, 'no? Then yung mga nagfo-flow sa labas, yung mga lava na nag-solidify, yun yung mga extrusive rocks. So, yung volcanic rocks na tatawag natin. Okay, so let's go more in depth sa plutonic rock. So, plutonic rock are those rocks which are formed beneath the surface of the Earth's crust after solidification of magma. Okay, so it cools very slowly. Thus, these are coarsely crystalline rocks. Okay? So, ito yung mga example ng plutonic rock. So, mga intrusive rocks. So, meron tayong granite, tayong diorite, tsaka gabbro. Okay? Next, yung hypabysal rock. So, these rock are formed below the Earth's surface then at a short distance. This happens when magma solidifies in the form of thin sheets of wall, okay, or wall-like structure. Usually, rocks are medium grain. Okay? So, example daw niya is dolerite and pegmatite. Okay? Then last is yung volcanic rocks. So, these are formed on the surface of the earth. Uh, this happens when the magma is forced out on the surface of the earth. So, kapag na-force out na siya sa surface ng earth, lava siya. So, ibig sabihin, these are formed from lava which cooled quickly to form small crystals. Okay? So, yung common types daw ng volcanic rocks. So, meron tayong andesite, rhyolite, tsaka mga basalt, no? Okay? So, ito naman yung mga iba't ibang index properties na ginagamit ng geologists to characterize yung mga igneous rock natin. So, these are important petrographic characteristics which are helpful in identifying and classifying rocks by using specimen which can be seen by the naked eye or the aid of hand lens and also with some testing tools like penknife, magnet, strike plate, and hydrochloric acid. Okay? So yung first index na ginagamit is yung sa color. Okay? So the color of rock depends upon the color of the aggregated mineral or cementing materials, and it's generalized according to the overall shade. Okay? So ito is yung casting niya is through the observation by the naked eye, no? Then texture, defined as the mutual relationship of the constituent mineral grains, size, shape, and etc. Then we have yung grain size. So yung grain size is depending upon the size o yung kung ano yung diameter ng grain natin. So classified siya into fine, medium, and coarse grain depending dun sa range ng diameter ng grain. So we have uh, 1 mm to less na grain diameter, fine grain siya. So yung from 1 less than kapag yung grain size natin is greater than 1 but less than 5, medium grained. Then kapag greater than 5, that is coarse grained. Okay? Then next is since ang igneous rock nga is uh, from the solid, 'di ba, ang igneous rock nga is yung solidified state ng mga minerals na melted na lumabas sa earth surface or yung nag-solidify doon sa inside ng volcanoes or ng earth crust. May iba't ibang mineral composition siya depende sa location and environment kung saan siya nakuha. Okay? So there are some combinations and proportion of component minerals like yung mga essential minerals na pwedeng makita ng naked eye and also yung mga accessory minerals which have final particles of deleterious components. Okay? Then ito yung mga other index properties na kino-consider. We have yung cementing materials niya, yung specific gravity, special properties, acid reaction, and magnetism. Okay? So ito yung sample na classification niya o paano siya ma-fall under into particular classification, no? So meron tayo dito yung mga common igneous rock natin. We have gray granite, dolerite, gabbro, and basalt. So, upon observing nitong mga index properties na to, ito dapat yung ma-observe natin characteristic ng isang igneous rock to be able to identify uh, which particular type siya nagpo-fall under, no? Okay. Next, we have sedimentary rock. So, ito yung next classification, major group ng type of rock. So these are formed underwater in different situations. Yun yung isang kung bakit nagkakameron ng sedimentary. So sedimentary rock, ibig sabihin galing siya sa mga sediment, no? Okay? So sa maliliit na particles, ibig sabihin sa mga maliliit na stone na usually nafo-form underwater kasi yung presence ng wave or ng flow ng halimbawa sa river, yung may current na flow ng water. So, habang dumadaan dun sa earth surface or dun sa mga igneous rock natin yung mismong water, may mga parts niya or particles niya na nare-riff off dun sa surface ni igneous rock, no? Yung mga nakukuhang particles kay igneous rock, yung mga tawag ng sediments, nagmo-move siya from one place to another. Then kapag nag-move siya, um, after years, no, nagkakameron ng compaction ng mga particles. So pag nag-compact yung particles, tapos nag-glue together sila, nagfo-form yung sedimentary rock. Okay? So from sediments or from other organic matter, nagkakameron ng sedimentary rock. Okay? So these are those that are deposited and lithified. So ibig sabihin compacted and cemented together, okay, at the Earth's surface with the assistance of running water, okay? So sa in case ng river, then sa wind, okay? So nakikita natin pag halimbawa yung halimbawa sa mga sa Great Canyon, pag nakita niyo yung Great Canyon, um, yung mismong physical, characteristic ng Great Canyon makita niyo iba't iba siya, may mga layer siyang iba't ibang kulay. So ibig sabihin, from time to time nung, hindi pa nawawala yung lake daw, yung river na dumadaan dun. So nag-compact ng mga sediments kaya nagkakameron ng layers ng rocks 'no. So may dark brown, may light brown. So yung mga yon is from, collection na ng mga sediments na nag-form over time 'no. Then meron tayong true wind, ice, or living organisms. So most are deposited from land surface to the bottom of lakes, rivers, and oceans. Okay? So ito yung sinasabi ko, ayan 'no, kung makita niyo yung itsura niya 'no, meron siyang mga iba't ibang lines or layers. So makikita niyo, parang over a very long period of time bago na nag-manifest yung ganyang itsura 'no. So siguro during nung mga era pa ng dinosaurs na, present na yung mga rocks na yan or nagko-compact na siya during that time na it so happen na after a number of years, thousand of years, na-observe na natin yung kanyang itsura, ah. So ito yung mga iba't ibang formation of sedimentary rock. So yung process involved, ah, sa sedimentary rocks are as follows. So meron tayong detrital rocks. So ito yung mga disintegration of rocks or erosion. Okay? So may dalawa talagang mode of transportation or process na nag-undergo ang sedimentary rocks para ma-form siya. Meron tayo mamaya later di-discuss natin meron tayong yung through weathering. So ano natin and through erosion 'no. So later i-discuss natin fully kung ano yung pagkakaiba ng weathering and erosion. Then dito, yung transportation, as we have mentioned earlier, through wind and running water are the most convenient or important agents, no? So during the course of transportation, the particle size becomes and the smaller and smooth because of abrasion. Okay? So dahil sa kiskisan, no? Then deposition. So the sediments later deposited on the continent, seashore, or in the deep sea. So compaction and consolidation of sediments take place, forming solid cohesive hard rocks. So the process of transformation of loose particles into hard rocks are called diagenesis. Okay? So yun pala yun. So yung from pag-change ng molecular structure ng mismong rock natin from loose particle, then parang nagkameron siya ng glue effect o nag-litify siya into hard rocks, no? Kaya diagenesis yung tawag sa kanya. And then this can be achieved by welding or cementation. So welding daw is the process of compaction of sediments in lower layer of basin due to pressure exerted by the load of the overlying sediment layer. Okay? So kapag halimbawa may layers of um, rocks ka na, so yung overburden pressure na ine-exert nito pababa sa kanya, no? Nung layer na 'to, 'tong layer na 'to, kaya nagkakameron ng welding. Then cementation is yung loose grain of sediments get settled and held together by binding material. So yung mga binding material natin is yung mga iron oxide, calcium oxide, silicon dioxide, okay? So ito lang yung parang flowchart niya from rocks, um, mag-undergo siya ng transportation, yung erosion and weathering, magiging siyang rock fragments, then magta-transport siya, magiging siyang sediments. Yung mga 'pag nag-undergo siya ng diagenesis o yung, pagpapalit ng molecular structure niya, yung binding ng molecular structure niya from loose to hardened rocks, yun yung magiging sedimentary rocks natin, okey? So ito yung classification of sedimentary rocks. Um, Classified siya broadly into clastic and non-clastic. So 'pag sinabing clastic lang is, um, may particular na ah, component yung sedimentary rock na yun, ano. So dito, pag sinabing clastic rock, so mechanically formed rock siya. Okay? So dahil siya sa weathering and erosion, then based on grain size niya. Okay? So further classified siya into three. So meron tayong rhodaceous, arenaceous, tsaka argillaceous. Okay? So pag sinabing rhodaceous rocks, okay? So yung grain size of sediments or particles are more than 2 mm in diameter. Okay? So called rhodites. And the rocks are called rhodaceous rocks. Okay? So again, may further classification pa siya. So ano na lang siya, no? So gravel, pebble, cobble, and boulder. Okay? Next is yung arenaceous rock. So if the size of the particle is between 1 and 2 mm, so these are called arenaceous rock. So yung main constituent is sand. Okay? So yung main cementing material niya is ito, argillaceous, calcareous, ferruginous, or siliceous material. Okay? Then yung last is yung argillaceous rocks. Okay? Because pag less than 1 mm naman siya. So described as dust and rocks. Okay? So, formed by accumulation and compaction of dust particles. Okay? So if it's compact and semi-wet, it is mud, and if it's wet, it is described as clay. Okay? Then non-clastic rock naman tawag sa kanya is if it is formed either by chemical processes or organic processes. So yung form niya is chemically formed tsaka organically formed. Pag sinabing chemically formed, um, through precipitation siya, evaporation or crystallization from natural aqueous solution. So depende sa kung saan siyang na-expose sa environment, no? So meron tayong siliceous deposits, so formed by precipitation of silica solution. Carbonate deposit, galing sa carbonate-rich water. Um, Ferruginous rocks from oxides and hydroxides of iron. Ferruginous rocks from precipitation of oxides and hydroxide of iron. Phosphatic deposit, water rich in phosphoric acid. Then evaporates formed by evaporation of seawater from base and estuaries. Okay, so yun yung mga rock salt, anhydrites, gypsum, and borates. Then organically formed rocks, which are formed exclusively from remains of organism, no? So from plants or animals. So example nito is yung mga carbonaceous deposits natin, like for example coal and petroleum, fossiliferous limestones. Okay? So ito naman yung mga index properties na hinahanap para sa mga sedimentary rocks. So ito yung mga some of the basic classification ng sedimentary rock. We have yung sandstone, shale, limestone, and laterite. So if you will observe yung mga different checklist niya, yan yung hinahanap sa kanya or yung criteria niya to be able to categorize yung certain sedimentary rock into one of this classification or category. Okay? So ito yung transportation process na binabanggit ko kanina. So let us first discuss yung weathering. So weathering daw is defined as the disintegration or alteration of rock in its natural or original position. Okay? Through physical, chemical, or biological processes. Okay? So, yun nga, through wind, water, and climate, yung mga usual transportation niya. Then, binabreakdown niya yung rocks into small fragments. Tapos, tinatransport niya from one location to another. No? So, types of weathering. Okay, so we have yung mechanical weathering or physical weathering. So, ito daw yung, um, ginagawang crumble yung rocks, okay? So, siguro by strong wind or strong ano, strong exposure sa waves, 'no? Kung halimbawa nasa seabed siya. And chemical weathering na nagche-change ng rock or soil molecular structure. So, sabihin parang, um, more on atomic level yung changes natin dito sa chemical weathering, 'no? Okay. Then yung isa naman is yung erosion. So, yung erosion naman defined siya as the process by which soil and rock particles are worn away and move elsewhere by gravity, wind, water, or ice. Okay. So, soil and rock debris left behind by weathering are transported during the process of erosion. So, kung titingnan nyo parang same siya halos ng definition ng sa weathering. Pero magbigay tayo ng example para mas ma-identify natin yung difference talaga ng weathering and erosion from one another. Okay? So ito lang muna yung mga methods of erosion. So we have five methods na nangyayari. So meron tayong bio-erosion. So from plants to, break up and move soil or rocks. We have ice or glacial erosion. So, moved by gravity, yung mga glaciers natin. Then we have liquid water erosion. So, yung rain and bodies of water natin carry or wash away yung sediments. Then we have mass wasting. So, yung rocks and soil are moved downward from events like landslides. Then wind erosion or wind or sediments carried by wind. Okay? So, ito yung main difference of weathering and erosion. So, they both involve rocks, but there are three main differences between these two processes. So yung una, sa weathering daw, nangyayari siya at site of rock or mineral. Okay? So, so ibig sabihin ito, kung halimbawa na-form yung rock natin sa some particular location, dun din mangyayari yung weathering. So, ibig sabihin, from yung original location, halimbawa dito mo nakuha, dito nag-originate yung mismong rock natin. So, mismo dun sa, kumbaga origin niya, dun manggagaling yung process ng weathering. So, halimbawa dito yung location niya, then may alon na dumadaan sa kanya. So, yung mga particles na makukuha natin dito, so from the origin, no? Yun yung nangyari sa weathering. So, sa erosion naman siya, nangyayari naman siya kapag halimbawa yung mga halimbawa may mga piece of igneous rock tayo, then nag-transport tayo pero hindi siya naging sediment o yung small particles. Bawa nag-move lang siya from one place to another pero igneous rock pa din siya. Then from dito, tsaka pa lang magkakameron ng um, change in the property ng mismong igneous rock natin. No? Then yung next is yung hindi nag-involve ng movement of materials. Okay? So, by natural forces yung nangyayari. No? Then dito, involve movement ng materials kapag erosion. Okay? Kaya meron tayo kaninang mga landslides. No? Then last is yung breakdown rocks and minerals. Okay? So tapos yung sa erosion, minumove lang niya yung deposit rocks and minerals. Okay? So bigyan natin ng example, no? So ito yung side by side difference niya. So sa weathering, halimbawa, meron tayong large rock and rivers being broken down. Okay? So from yung location niya. So from significant siguro transfer o pag-pass through ng wave ng current ng river, nagbo-broke down yung large rock. Yung sa erosion naman, nangyayari, sumasama dun sa wave yung mga pebbles natin. So, rolling along dun sa riverbed natin. So, yung pebbles natin is uh, yung next size natin after gravel eh. As we have indicated dito earlier. So, na yan. Ito. So, 10 to 50 mm na diameter ng rock. So, yun yung mga pebbles natin. So, nagmo-move lang siya, sumasabay lang siya doon sa movement nung mismong um, movement ng water natin, no? Then, Kasunod, halimbawa, mga sun-sized particles of rock breaking off their original source. So, pag erosion naman siya, yung grains of sand suspended in and moving with wind. Okay? So, hindi pa siya nagkakameron ng change ng form niya, no? So, from grains of sand, kapag erosion yung nangyari, magkakameron lang siya, magiging lang siyang sedimentary rock kapag halimbawa naipon na siya from one place, no? Then dito, fragments breaking off a large deposit of rock salt. So yung mga pag-erosion siya, yung salt suspended in ocean of water. So by current lang yung movement niya, no? So dito, in place yung um, pag-change ng form niya. Then ito is by presence of yung current niya, no? So through yung current na nangyayari sa ocean water, nagkakameron ng suspension of salt. Okay? Then we have yung third and last classification ng rock o yung major type ng rock which we call metamorphic rock. So these are formed by changes in the pre-existing rocks under the influence of high temperature, pressure, and chemically active solution. Okay. So ito yung pinaka-importanting property lang ng metamorphic rock na nag-exist siya dahil sa high temperature and high pressure lang lagi. Okay? So later, i-discuss natin kung paano nag-change yung ano yung relationship ng mga rocks na to with one another, no? Then metamorphic rocks are sedimentary or igneous rocks that have been transformed by pressure. Okay? So by pressure, ibig sabihin present ng high pressure dito, no? Okay? Then heat or the intrusion of fluids. Okay? So ito yung mga factors or mga agents affecting yung metamorphism natin. Okay? So we have yung first yung yung high temperature, no? So pag high temperature, nagkakameron ng recrystallization and reconstitution ng mga original minerals natin into newer ones. Okay? So there is no addition or subtraction of minerals from the rock, pero yung temperature na to take place ranges between 300 to 800 degrees Celsius and even more up to 1000 degrees Celsius. Okay? Then yung next is yung pressure. So, yung pressure is associated with temperature. So, meron tayong two types of pressure. We have yung load pressure and direct pressure. Pag sinabing load pressure, um, it acts generally in a vertical direction due to overburden resulting change in the structure of the rocks. Okay? So, kung mga overburden pressure, halimbawa meron tayong layers of rock. Then, halimbawa itong nandito sa ilalim natin. Diba, as we go, pag titingnan ulit natin yung parts of the Earth's crust, diba, as we go deeper o yung papunta tayo doon sa mismong center of the Earth, mas painit ng painit yung temperature niya, di ba? Then, kapag halimbawa, yung sa overburden pressure, yung load pressure, ibig sabihin, kapag meron tayong layers of rock, then kapag halimbawa itong layer na to is mas nako-compact natin siya, no? Then, meron din ditong high temperature dahil dun sa layer niya, mas malapit siya dun sa ah, mismong center of the earth, nagkakameron ng metamorphism, no? Then yung direct pressure is yung different direction of pressure resulting from the change in volume. Okay? Yung differential stress na tatawag natin. Then we have yung fluids. So any existing open space between minerals or grains in a rock can potentially contain a fluid. Okay, so mga chemically active fluids facilitates recrystallization of original minerals. Dahil sa pagtaas ng pressure and temperature, nagkakameron ng atomic change, no? So, pwedeng halimbawa, from merong mga void spaces yung mismong atomic structure ng mismong rock natin upon the presence of high temperature and high pressure, nagkakameron ng reconstruction ng um, atomic structure ng mismong Earth natin, which help the rock to transform from igneous or sedimentary to metamorphic. No? Then we have metasomatism. So sometimes fluid present around the rock comes in contact with the minerals at a high temperature, producing many changes in composition and structure. So this process of rock mineral alteration by the agency of solution is called metasomatism. Okay? So ito yung three kinds of metamorphism. So we have thermal, dynamic, and dynamo-thermal metamorphism. So pag thermal metamorphism, ang mas dominant factor natin is yung temperature. Okay? So laging ang main factor para magkameron ng metamorphism, laging temperature, pressure, and fluid. So dito, mas dominant yung temperature. Then kapag dynamic, kapag nanggaling sa direct pressure or stress or mas pressure yung dominant sa mismong changes niya. Okay, so yung metamorphism niya is nag-undergo ng mechanical breaking, then nag-crash into smaller ones by pressure. Okay? So, like for example to, from shale, yung original structure niya, then naging slate through pressure, no? Then we have yung dynamo thermal metamorphism. So, ito yung kapag both temperature and pressure are dominant factors. Okay? So, wala tayo kapag halimbawa fluid yung um, more dominant, no? Kasi kung fluid yung maging mas dominant sa kanya, I guess more on molecular level lang yung kayang i-support ni fluid, no, sa metamorphism. Ang pinakamalaking factor talaga na mahalaga is yung temperature and pressure natin. Kaya yung types of metamorphism natin is based from kung dominant lang yung temperature or dominant lang yung pressure. And then kapag halimbawa combine yung dalawa na naging dominant sila. Okay? Then ito yung mga index properties ng metamorphic rock. So we have yung four major classification natin. We have ang basa dito. Gneiss, not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sa basa niya, slate, marble, and quartzite. Okay. So based from this different characteristic and classification, yan yung criteria natin para ma-classify natin yung metamorphic rock into this particular column, no? Okay? Then we have ito, yung summary natin ng ito yung pinag-usapan natin ngayon kasi sa petrology, study of rock. Then we have three major classification, yung igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Then we have dito, nakalagay lang is yung intrusive tsaka extrusive. Pero kanina, 'di ba, sa intrusive natin, we have yung plutonic tsaka yung isa, yung hypa, no? And sa extrusive, we have yung volcanic natin. Then sa sedimentary natin, meron tayong clastic. And itong chemical kasama siya sa non-clastic, no? Then sa metamorphic, we have yung foliated and non-foliated. So yung sa foliated is based na to dun sa mga bang structure pag foliated yung sinasabi. So ito to. So foliated rock formed by regional metamorphism of sandstone. Okay, so depende siya doon sa um, content or yung class characteristic o yung component mismo ng rock, no? Kaya siya nagiging foliated and non-foliated. Pero ang mas mahalagang classification ng metamorphic rock natin is itong tatlong classification na nabanggit natin, no? Itong thermal, dynamic, and dynamothermal metamorphism. Okay? And then we go to rock cycles. Okay? So, rock cycle is yung series ng processes that create and transform the type of rocks in the Earth's crust. So, basically, yung rock cycle is papakita lang sa atin kung paano nagiging connected yung one type of rock, bawa yung igneous, paano siya nagiging sedimentary, or from igneous, paano siya nagiging metamorphic. Then, the same as dun sa other type of rock, si sedimentary, paano siya nagiging igneous, tsaka paano siya nagiging metamorphic. Kasi metamorphic, paano siya nagiging igneous, tsaka paano siya nagiging sedimentary. No? So, yung rock cycle is a concept used to explain how the three basic type of rocks are related and how Earth processes over geologic time change a rock from one type into another. Okay? Then, through plate tectonic activity along with weathering and erosional processes, ito yung mga transportation na nangyayari kaya nagkakameron ng cycle, no? Kaya nagkakameron ng paulit-ulit na processes kung paano nag-change yung one rock from one another. Okay? So, ah pinaka-trivia lang siguro dito, bago mag-change sa isang form yung rock, it will take thousands of years, no? So basically, siguro sa lifetime natin, hindi natin ma-observe yung change ng isang rock from one another. Pero buti may mga nade-discover yung mga geologists natin na mga, yun nga, mga nag-undergo na ng cycle na mga rocks, no? So, paano ba itsura ng rock cycle natin? So, ito yung pinaka-itsura ng rock cycle natin. So, basically, nag-start o yung pinaka-parental rock natin lagi is yung igneous rock lagi, no? So, kasi ito yung sabi ko nga kanina, 95% of the Earth's characteristic is yung igneous rock, no? Then, kapag nagkameron ng weathering and erosion, so from igneous rock, so present ng weathering and erosion, may mga nakukuhang particles, fragments. Ito yung mga sediments natin, no? Then kapag yung mga sediments na yon naipon, okay? So naipon and nagkameron ng compaction and cementation, nagiging siyang sedimentary rock, okay? So from sedimentary rock, kapag halimbawa nag-overlap na yung mga layers ng sedimentary rock, so habang pumupunta siya sa malalim na portion ng Earth, nagkakame yung pressure na heat galing dun sa center ng Earth, mas lumalaki yung high temperature, no? Then kapag halimbawa dumadami yung layer na nasa ibabaw niya, nagkakameron tayo ng overburden pressure. Kaya by the presence of heat and pressure, nagiging siyang metamorphic rock kasi nagkakameron ng metamorphism o yung change in molecular level niya, ano yung mismong atomic structure niya. Okay? Then from metamorphic rock, kapag meron ng very very high, so to the point na yung temperature natin and yung pressure natin is hindi na ma-handle ni metamorphic rock or nagkakameron na nung na-reach na yung melting point niya, nagiging magma na siya. Then kapag naging magma na siya, pabalik na tayo dun sa process natin, no? So kung halimbawa pumutok siya sa vulkan, so from lava, magiging ulit siyang igneous rock. Then kung halimbawa hindi siya lumabas ng volcanic eruption, so meron tayong plutonic tsaka hypa na intrusive igneous rock. So kung tumigas yun, lahat yun babalik dito sa igneous rock. Okay? Then kapag halimbawa yung igneous rock natin is nag-undergo, so kasi di ba meron tayong mga intrusive rocks, igneous rocks. So pwede din siya ma-subject sa heat and pressure, no? So kung halimbawa sakto lang yung heat and pressure na ah, ma-expose siya, magiging ulit siyang metamorphic rock. Pero kapag halimbawa nag-exceed siya dun sa melting point niya, so magiging ulit siyang magma dito, no? Then from halimbawa metamorphic ulit, so kapag yung metamorphic rock natin halimbawa na-expose na siya sa iba't ibang um, natural forces na pwedeng mangyari sa weathering and erosion. So may mapipick up ulit ng mga particles o fragments sa kanya na magiging sediments. So kung magiging sediment siya, mabalik ulit siya dun sa compaction and cementation, kapag dumami na siya, magiging sedimentary rock ulit siya. Okay? And si sedimentary rock, although na compact and na nag-combine na siya through cementation, possible pa din siyang broken down ulit sa pagiging sediments through weathering and erosion. So depending dun sa exposure niya na environment, or kung saan siya located o saan siya nakalocate, naka physically exposed, mangyayari yung cycle natin, no? So, tandaan nyo lang lagi na ito yung mga major processes na nangyayari sa rock kung paano siya nag-change from one form to another. Okay? So, that's it. So, that is the end of our lecture. So, that is our uh, discussion about petrology. No? So, do you have any question regarding this topic?
Wala naman po,
Wala
sir.
po, sir.
Okay.
Kailan po exam natin, sir?
Come again? Ano yan?
Kailan po exam natin, sir?
Exam natin sa Tuesday na pala. Hindi ko na i-ano ng Thursday, no? Hindi ko na isabay ng Thursday. So, our exam will be on Tuesday, October 13, next week. So, same time na lang din. 2:30 to 3:30. Okay? So, yung scope of exam is mineralogy and petrology. Then, type of exam, um, I'm not sure paano, pero pag siguro it's either multiple choice, true or false, and then essay. Na? Okay, so if you don't have any more question, so this ends our lecture for today. So see you guys again next week for your examination. No?